Alright, what I'm working on now is I'm going to put dynamat inside the skin of the door. And the reason for that is when you slam this door, you hear a lot of clanking, and it just doesn't sound like quiet. It just sounds real thunkety when you close it. So we want to quiet that down. This thing is, I believe it's 32 by 18. So this thing's a lot longer than 32, but you don't really need all of it to cover the whole surface. You only need, I think it was 30% for it to quiet down. So that should be sufficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that down here 6 inches. 6 inches from here. I'm going to cut it all the way and rip it across. And that will leave me 12 inches widthwise and 6 inches. And now the 6 inches, as you can see in here, will fit perfectly on the upper part. From the bar, from the crash bar up, that's 6 inches roughly. From here to here, the 12 inches will go on the other side. Let's see what that is. Inches. We're looking at, yeah, like 12 inches. So that'll fit perfect. 12 inches here and 6 inches there. And then the 32 inches long that it is what it will be, because they don't make them longer than that. So it'll cover from about right there. From there all the way across. So we'll be missing, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 inches, but not a big deal. It's going to cover most of the door, and that should quiet it down quite a bit. So I'm going to get that done and make sure the window's up so you can reach in there. I just used a battery. And then I had an extra cable from another car. Ran that to the battery. One way we'll raise it, switch it around, and it'll lower it. And yeah, that's what I'm going to get done right now. And make sure you use some wax and grease remover, bug and tar remover, soap and water, whatever, to get this. You can see it's really quite dusty in there. It's not going to stick, the dynamat. Not going to want to stick to that if you don't clean it out. So clean all that in there the best you can. Reach your hand in there as far as you can. Wear a glove when you're using that. Respirator, because sometimes it stinks. And then cut it, apply your dynamat, and we'll take a video afterwards when we're done. Alright, we got the dynamat in on top, and it's ran from about right there all the way down, and you can see it falls short a little bit right there and right there. So that's still, it's way more than 30% of the door covered, so it's gonna do its job. It's gonna quiet this down anyways. You don't have to go all the way across, like I said. I think I'm short maybe 10 inches, but that's not a big deal. Like I said, it's more than 30% coverage. This was a bit wide, hard to get in, so what I did is I ran it down through the middle of the glass here. There's about 12 inches of space. You shove it in here, and you kind of crinkle it up a little bit, and then it'll get in. That's how I got it in. See the inside look of it. You just gotta work your hand down there best you can. I use the dynamat roller that I bought to get in there. And problem solved. When you close the door now, you're not gonna hear a big thumping noise like all the stock Firebirds do. Sounds like you're shutting a tank door. And this will eliminate that sound. Unfortunately, I can't test it for you because my car's getting painted, and I'm not putting this back on the car right now. But when I'm done, I'll take another video and you can hear how it sounds afterwards. So that's all it needs. I mean, some people put it on the outside too, quiet down, or the inside. But I think right here is more important for the actual thumping noise that you hear when you close the doors, because that's just the door skin. You know, now I can knock on it, it sounds solid. Before it was a lot more rattly. So that'll do its job. that's it for now. That's how you put the dynamat in the doors for a 3rd gen Firebird. Again, you don't have to have the whole thing done. If you want to, you can put another piece here if you feel like it needs it, but I don't think it will need it because it's way more than 30%. And that's all I'm doing for now, even though I got more, but like I said, you don't need a whole lot. Debating if I should put it on the outside. I'll figure that out later when I put the doors on and everything. It probably would quiet it up a little bit by putting it on the outside. You see how many little rivets are in this thing. Not that these are pretty tight, but if you had any loose ones, that would definitely quiet those down. But everything seems to be pretty solid on this door. Usually this little handle makes a little bit of noise. Maybe you could put some dynamat just inside there around the little metal pieces in there. Yeah, but everything else seems pretty solid. See, you can hear it. There's a lot of rattling because of these rivets. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to go over these rivets with dynamat. Just, you know, the rivet area. I don't see the point of covering this hole. If you ever got to do maintenance in here, you're going to have to rip through it, and it just doesn't make sense for me to cover holes. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe a small hole like this would be okay, but if you ever have to get in there, replace a slider or something, it'd be a pain in the butt. So yeah, what I would do is just go over your little rivets, everything that's been riveted on the door, because that's what's going to make noise. And actually, the little lock cylinder is probably what's making noise too. This thing here, it's got a lot of moving parts. Nothing you can do about that, really. But yeah, maybe some dynamat here, just in this little section here, little piece here. If this is a little rattly, put some in here. See, because it would make noise metal on metal. You can see it's a little loose there in this corner here. Maybe you can fit some up under there. Anything you can do to quiet it down will help. Alright, so if you got any little rattling rivets, just put some tiny little bit of dynamat in there, you know, on the inside, outside, and that'll take care of it. I noticed on this little handle, this likes to squeak a lot here. You'll hear this squeaking a lot on these cars. So just put some dynamat on the corners, kind of shove it under there, lift it up a little bit and shove it in there, up in here in the middle, and then on the sides right here and up here. Shove it up in there, and that'll get rid of any rattling in this thing, any play in that. And I think that's about it. All the other rivets, they're really tight on this thing. It doesn't look like I need to do any of this other stuff. So it's real sound and quiet now. Yeah, you just need a little sliver like that. And that helps significantly when you have it on the car. So now I'm going to go run around and try to get this adhesive off. There's a little, you know, the factory plastic on here. It had never been taken off from what I can see, and so I gotta try to get something. I know 3M makes an adhesive remover and it works really good, but I don't have any more, so I gotta see how I'm gonna get this crap off. I tried lacquer thinner, but it just ends up taking the paint off. I'm trying to keep it nice. Seems like my fingernail works good. Yeah, so I got a little bit of cleanup to do on that, because that's going to be painted black all inside. Even though you're not going to see it, it's still going to be black anyway. Alright, real quick video. Just want to show you what a good hinge, top hinge looks like off the Firebird. And see, you can barely, it barely moves. You see that? Moves maybe a 1/16 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch, barely, but it barely moves. If you remember the other video I made, this thing was really rattling. This thing, compared to this barely moves. So this one's, it's worn, but not like, it's not to the point where it's gonna cause a sagging door. You know, it's okay. And this one, again, you can't test these until you take the spring out. See how these are. So I'm gonna take the spring out real quick. All right, just remove the spring. And this thing's not super bad. Tiny little bit of play, not much. But since I got it off and I already got the kit, might as well just do the bottom pin at least. Top one, I think the hassle that it is to get it out and the very little play that it has, I'm not gonna mess with it. But this one's a lot easier. This one just pops out, so I'll do this one. I don't think the top one needs to be done, so I'll just skip that. All right, after inspection, the pin is perfectly fine. That doesn't usually go bad. I got that out, and what went bad was the bushing, the top one. You can see there's play in it. Bottom one, the bushing's fine. There's no play in it at the bottom, which is weird though. They have some sealant on it too, from the factory, I guess, and that could be keeping it from moving too. So I'm gonna take that sealant off and see if it wiggles. But yeah, definitely the bushing here is bad. You can see wiggling around. That's usually what goes bad in these things. So I'll put the new ones in. All right, old bushing out, new one in. And this thing was, I had to use the press just to press it in. It was so tight. And that's what you want. Now there's no movement. This other one's not even loose, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to bother to take that one out. Thing's smashed in there real good. There's no damage to it, so we'll just leave that one. Alright, install this bad boy.